I've got something to tell you about all the prison escapes I've done. A few of the escape plans had flaws, yes, just like the prisons themselves, but that's not what I have to tell you. You see, for every one of my escapes, I've been holding back. The reason I've been doing this is for the sake of theatrics. Plans that use outside escapists are a lot more fun and creative. In every one of my prison escapes, I've restrained myself in one way or another, not letting the prisoner die, taking less than a minute to escape, going in with just one escapist. But ironically, the most challenging way to escape a prison is to do it without any escapists at all. Or in other words, go in alone. No one to break you out from the outside. Someone like me. I will be breaking out of multiple inescapable prisons that I've cherry-picked for their weaknesses and called them Minecraft's hardest prisons so that I sound more impressive. All of this because you weren't satisfied. You wanted to see a 100% solo escape, no matter how boring and mundane it may be. This is the part where I guilt trip you into thinking it's your fault that I have to make this video. A version of Kenadian that's passive-aggressive towards amateur escapists. You want to see it? Fine. We start off with Apollo's Vault. I don't get an opportunity to escape directly from the cell every time, so we'll take advantage of this. Although in order to begin what I'm about to do, I'm going to wait until the guard goes AFK or just escape at 3 AM. What I'm going to do is mine this corner right where my bed is, which obstructs my spawn. Now of course, because it's a cobble regenerating cell, it's going to push cobblestone back in place, but the piston that does it will actually stop more cobblestone from generating, which means if I break this block a second time, it won't regenerate. Now my bed is obstructed, and all I have to do is die to escape, which is pretty simple with a bit of Creovite crawling into the corner and suffocating in a regenerating block on the other side of the cell. And just like that, I've escaped Apollo's Vault. Honestly, no clue why a solo escape needs a 15-minute long video, but go off. Let's move on to the next prison, Devil's Vault. You may not have heard of it because it's a very obscure prison, but don't let its lack of popularity deny the challenge of escaping it solo. The first thing I do is get this lantern, and while it's impossible to pick up a lantern from mining it with your fist, I'm going to use this legendary tactic called mining the block below it and get the lantern anyway. The next thing I have to do is come into this swimming position and start mining at the wall on this side where my bed is. Just like the old version of Poseidon's Vault, when this breaks, I can immediately swim in and stand on the bed. Except stand isn't the right word, because it's just tall enough of a block that I will still be in crawl mode, which is very important for this escape to go efficiently. First thing I want to do is destroy the bed to reset my spawn, but if I do that, I'll get into the stand-up position, and it's nearly impossible for me to find a way to kill myself without spending hours and hours mining blocks. Instead, I'm going to get to this position where I'll break the bed. In this recording, I got lucky and picked it up right away, but there is a chance that that won't happen, which is what the lantern is for. If the bed lands on the ground, I can place the lantern, go onto the lantern, I will still be crawling, and pick up the bed from there. Then I break the lantern, place the bed, and crawl to this dispenser. I'll destroy this dispenser, and it will expose me to this column of lava where I can kill myself and be set free. Next we have Demonic Vault, which holds the record for my personal count for the most kill checks, at 9 for the prisoner alone. It is almost impossible to smuggle items through that many kill checks, which would have been nice to do because the cobblestone cell itself is almost impossible to break out of, seeing as they use the push you from your bed into the cell design. Unfortunately, it's built so poorly that to escape, I can simply get pushed after respawning, disconnect, let the rest of the system play out, and then log back on, and I don't fall into the cell. From here, I just need to mine some obsidian. After that, I break the bed, and then I just have to kill myself. If the guards hear me at this point, there's nothing they can do aside from kill me, but that would just set me free. So I jump into the cell, I destroy some of the blocks to allow the water to spread, and then I try to suffocate myself in the cobblestone again. I know it doesn't look like I'm in the cobblestone, but for some reason in this position I end up suffocating, which might just be some weird server bug, but it worked out. the Bifrost Complex. Okay, not gonna lie to you, this prison's a joke. First off, what is this wall design? How do you get the prisoner from the outside to the inside? There are no portals. They use this trap door to allow you to fall into the prison, but if you die at the wrong time, you would just respawn on the bed instead of the trap door. Cobblestone generators don't work at all. Why are there these purple carpets? Well, this is the last time I'll be able to escape a cell simply because it's poorly built, so we'll take advantage of it and do it quickly before the real challenges come in. Basically, I just mine down here, crawl out of the cell, break these carpets so I can nerd pull up to this place and find some lava and die. If I'm unlucky, I respawn back in the cell and try again, but if I am lucky, I'll respawn on the bed, break the bed, jump in the lava, and be free. As this video goes along, prisons I have to escape get more and more difficult, and breaking out of a cell is no longer going to be possible. I'll have to start smuggling in items. The problem with smuggling in items is in most cases, people will complain that the guards can just hear you or look at subtitles to see you picking up items. But I'm no amateur solo escapist. You may have heard of this item that's most often used in prisons for defense, called a ZPI. Interestingly, it holds just enough data to kick you from the game in an item frame, but only if you enter the region it's in. Because of this interesting property, it holds the borderline safe amount of data for a server to allow to be sent to a client. For whatever strange reason, this means that when thrown out of your inventory, it is invisible. Not only is it completely invisible as an item, but picking it up doesn't emit a sound. Meaning if I just adjust the data in this book and put some escape items inside, I'm carrying with myself a completely undetectable escapist kit, trumping the innovation of every single solo escape so far. Welcome to Atlantis. Let's test out this ZPI. When I first enter the prison, the first kill check will happen down this hallway, so I'll place my ZPI on the bed and walk down to get killed. I'll quickly respawn on the bed and pick up the item, completely unnoticed by anyone. Then we'll move on to the next section. I'll ride this elevator and then get manually kill checked right here. This is a part where I have to be very careful and try to throw the item to a place where I don't think the guards will stand, which shouldn't be very hard because I can't imagine a guard just walking around a blank room just to test for invisible items. After I get killed, I just have to walk back to that space, pick up my item again, and continue to the final kill check. Here, like always, I throw it right onto the bed at the closest angle I can in order to pick it up when I respawn. Once I do, I drop into the cell and pull out my escapist gear. Okay, I hear you say. Sure, you can drop some items onto a bed and pick them up undetected, but what if there are hoppers below that bed? Welcome to Satan's Ark. Let me show you the real way to use dirt in a Minecraft escape. When I enter this room, there are 2 hoppers, meaning 10 hopper slots below me. Hoppers can pick up a stack of items instantly, but they can't deposit a stack instantly. So my escape method simply consists of throwing 11 stacks of dirt into this corner of the bed, and then I throw a pearl, and then my ZPI. I'll respawn on one side of the bed where I won't pick anything up, and then after that I'll respawn on the other side where I'll pick up my ZPI and my pearl. Now it would seem kind of weird that I don't bring my pearl inside the ZPI, but that's because I have to use it before I open it. I'll walk down this very unnecessarily long hallway and then get to this stasis chamber. This is where visitors are meant to set their stasis in order to get out of the cell. I'll drop this pearl in the stasis chamber the first moment that the guards are looking away, and then I'll walk up to the bed. The reason I do this is because it's actually impossible at this angle to throw an item onto the bed from here. But I know a trick. Above me is this single trapdoor, and when this button gets activated, it will flap the trapdoor down, allowing someone to go into crawl mode. Incidentally, this button is hooked up to the stasis chamber, so when I get here, I tell the guard, hey, I just found a pearl sitting on the ground. I don't know why it was there. Maybe an Enderman came in. Maybe last time a visit happened, you accidentally dropped a pearl, but I just saw it sitting there. And so I threw it into the stasis chamber in order to help myself escape. The guard will say, oh yeah, very clever of you, pointing out your escape plan to me. I'm no fool. They will press the button and I'll fall into crawl mode for just an instant, where I throw my ZPI and then get teleported to the pearl. Now the guard is confident that my last hope was extinguished in that pearl, but little does he know the escape has just begun. When I get killed, I pick up my ZPI, open it, and place this bed in the lava. Once it's destroyed, all I have to do is press W, and I'm free. Sure, you can carry a ZPI through a normal kill check, or one with hoppers below, but what if they use the squilly boat glitch? How do you get an item through that, I hear you say? Well, that's a lot more challenging and depends on circumstances. But considering I get to bring any items I'd like to the imprisonment process, I think it's fair to say I get some other preparation. If you recall, Mithridac has in past escapes used preset devices, such as this timed chunk ban on top of Gaia's vault, in order to attempt an escape. Now this can be risky in some cases, especially when you pearl into the banned area, but also if guards are able to tell what you're doing. This is Cleopatra's tomb, and the first point of interest here is how close this visitor hallway is to the edge of the prison. Right here, I can quickly and confidently mine in about 4 blocks of crying obsidian and let this water flow lead to this enchanting table, where any items dropped can be picked up by me. I could just throw an item in here and enter the visiting process, but I don't know how long it's going to take, so I can't risk that. I could also set up a timer, but again, that depends on when I will get imprisoned. Instead, I will use a cat. Up here, I've set up a little system that will dispense my ZPI into this water column, giving it to me, but only once this cat detector is activated, and that can only happen if I go to another dimension or disconnect from the game. So, I've set it up such that when my tamed cat senses that I am no longer in world, it will first send a pulse that will do nothing, as shown here, but the second time I do it, it will dispense the ZPI. The reason I do this is because to start the escape I have to go to the nether, and I don't want this activating while I'm in the nether. So I'll go through the entrance process as normal, the first cat trigger will activate, and then I will get to this point in the escape and disconnect from the game. When I rejoin, the cat will sense it and dispense my ZPI down this column and directly to me. Once again, nothing can be heard, and I continue on to the final bed. Here I use this trapdoor to get into crawl mode, throw the ZPI in the bed, but this time we're gonna do something different. In the past, I've simply let myself die to escape, or just ran away, forgetting the prison entirely. But this time, I have vengeance to pay out. So instead of escaping traditionally, we're going back up to the bed. The Enderchest. On the theme of escapes that take preparation, I want to demonstrate a kind of escape I'm surprised no one has considered fair before. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna nerd pull up here, I'm gonna mine towards the cell, and under the cell I'm gonna place a shulker box with a bunch of escape gear. When I get to the cell I can just break the cobblestone and pick up all the gear and I'm free. I mean sure, if setting stuff up before you do the entrance process is fair, then this is totally a valid escape. I mean, it seems scuffed, but that's what I did in the last escape and you seemed okay with that. Okay, look, to be fair, there's also a way to completely exploit the wall here because the pistons don't generate right. You can get to the bed, destroy the bed, and suffocate yourself, but FA has already demonstrated this escape on their channel, and I really didn't want to copy it even though I came up with it independently. Plus, I think my escape is funnier, even if it's mostly for satire's sake. The next prisons I'm going to escape will be a lot more challenging. They're going to require a new kind of technology. You've already seen me use it before. It's the cat. But this time I'm going to use this cat for more than just dispensing an item to me. Welcome to Zeus's Vault, the first victim to the most powerful solo escape device yet discovered. Rather more advanced for its use of bells as an alarm. If I tried to abuse this cell like I normally do, the guards would come in and interfere, which means I have to take care of them first. Before the escape begins, I get on top of the prison and bring a cat with me. This cat will once again detect when I disconnect, but only the second time. Although instead of hooking it up to some items to give to me, I'll hook it directly to a chunk ban. This dropper is in range of banning the entire prison except for the cell. Or in other words, guards will not be a factor in this escape. I enter the prison normally. The guards watch me for the first few minutes. They mock me as I stand in my obsidian cage, but little do they know, all I have to do is leave the game. After all the guards are banned, I mine this obsidian and damage the cobblestone generator right here at its weak point. From here I can quickly mine down until I get to this room full of glowstone, which is just a great block to build prisons out of. After mining enough glowstone, I can rebuild it out of the powder, I can nerd pull up to my bed and obstruct it and mine back down. From here, I'll use Zeus's vault's own redstone to set up a device that will suffocate me. I'll use 2 pistons, some redstone, and a repeater, and place a block where this observer is sitting in order to push this glowstone to suffocate me to death. I'm starting to realize something about this disconnect method. If I hooked up multiple hoppers and multiple comparators to this cat system, I could activate different redstone devices from multiple disconnect, basically controlling a simplified redstone computer simply by leaving the game. And it's going to be very vital for the hardest prison I'll have to escape yet this video. If you recognize your prisons, you'll already know what it is. It's been in frame the entire time. The Kingstone. To begin, I get on top of the Kingstone and set up my multi-disconnect escape machine. The machine has 5 protocols. The first does nothing while I'm in the nether entering the prison. The second will ban everything except for the cell and a hallway I need to take to get to the third protocol. After the third disconnect, it will destroy this chunk ban and re-enable one that's 1 block further, allowing me to get to another room, which you will see soon. The fourth will do the same, allowing me 1 more block of space, and then the 5th will reactivate a ban in this area, but disable one somewhere else. By the way, I'd like to point out that I've destroyed the command block that is giving me mining fatigue, not because I don't want to use it, but because there are literally no places to even spawn guardians. I mean, there could be a place to spawn guardians, but there isn't. Ultimately, I'm placed in the cell. I have no items, the guards are watching me from all directions. Once again, they feel so powerful, even though ironically, I'm more powerful than everyone else in this entire prison combined, and all I have to do is click 1 button. Escaping by mining straight down is possible, but it would take much longer than the method I'm going to use instead. Instead, I will destroy this block here and swim into this space. From here I can mine to the guard elevator, but I can't move forward yet. First I must disconnect again, activating the second system of bans like I mentioned before. This will open up 1 gap of space for me. Already nearly 2 hours have passed and the guards will probably have stopped trying to log on. But even if they do, it probably won't matter. Once I rejoin, I have 1 gap of space where I can move forward and fall. I'll disconnect and rejoin to stop myself from dying from the fall, automatically activating the 4th protocol, allowing me to go down this hallway and destroy these netherite blocks. It would be nice to use the pistons in this flying machine to do some fun stuff and retract some blocks, but the entire prison is covered in impossible block 36, which I'll just have to deal with and mine through the slow and boring way. When I get here, I can destroy this redstone lamp and replace the lever down here so that I don't need keycards to retract the blocks that expose my bed. Now I come to the bed and destroy it, take some harming potions I got from the guard room I was just in, and kill myself. Now I'm free, having permanently banned all the guards that used to have me imprisoned, all from the confines of my own cell. Now this was where the video was going to end. I've already escaped 10 prisons, but I haven't been entirely transparent. In all the stock footage I've shown, I've neglected to reveal to you the final prison I was to solo escape. But now that the video is nearing its end, it's time I show you. Helios Citadel, the magnum opus of Minecraft prisons. This prison is easily 10 times more secure than every other prison in this video. But as we all know, 10 times 0 is still 0. And this prison is about as secure as my job as a Minecraft prison YouTuber. This escape is a lot, so let me explain carefully and clearly. First thing I'm going to do is enter the nether and activate a ban right here, which will ban all the guards in the nether so that they can't see anything that I do. The next thing I'll do is place a ZPI, which gives me access to this entire area while the guards stay out. What I'm going to do is set up a line of observers and redstone lamps that follow all the way from outside the prison where nothing can be detected, all the way up to this point at the top. Right up here, I've placed a dropper with a shulker box containing a lot of items which I won't spoil. Connected to it is my long line of observers and redstone lamps, which leads all the way down to bedrock and through it, because there are some spaces in the bedrock that are only 1 block thick, which I can send an observer signal through. This signal will lead all the way off to the edge of the prison, which is more than 45 blocks away, which means it's impossible on a paper server for the guards to detect an entity that far away. And what entity do I have so many blocks away? Once again, I've brought a cat in, and when I disconnect, it'll dispense the shulker box up into this prisoner hallway. Now normally, if something like this ban happens to the guards, they will have to go around and check all the redstone and all the hallways to make sure that everything is secure. But they can't possibly check the entire prison, block for block, to make sure that nothing's happened. And since I've used an observer line, there's no way that the composters can see any of the redstone that I've done, making it completely seamless. Now for the moment of truth. I get killed in the kill check and respawn near the block limit, ready to enter Ilios Citadel, but just before I do, I leave. Now I have my shulker box. We can enter the prison safely. Once we enter the overworld, I'll leave the game again. I don't have a cat in the overworld, but I'll need to leave in order for my escort to go away. The escort is supposed to stay in the portal room and wait for the prisoner to follow him, but he can't stay in there all day because there's only 1 guard assigned to that point. Eventually, they'll have to leave, and when I'm certain that it's safe, I rejoin, and it's time to make my move. Now, with the resources I have, I could do whatever I want from here, but I'll follow my rules of having to enter the cell room before I escape. So instead, I will set up a dropper, which will dispense items into my cell, but it'll be hooked up to a clock, which will take 1 hour to finish. Once this dropper is completely empty of all of its items, this observer clock will activate, and escape items will flood into my cell, and it's just barely out of hearing range of the guards. Now I'm going to swim up the bubble elevator and start trying to mine through the trapdoor. The guards will be able to hear what I'm doing, and by this point I'll probably be spamming chat too to let them know that I've rejoined. When they let me in, I'll go through the next kill check, which will burn all the remaining items I had in my inventory, so they'll have no way to know I smuggled anything in beforehand. I get put in solitary confinement, and I wait my 1 hour. When I get killed, I respawn back in my cell, and in just a few moments, Ilios Citadel, your time is up. But in reality, that was only one of many escapes I came up for this prison. I could throw a fox ban on top of the prison for 2 years, and mine down from the roof to the cells and free the prisoner from there. I could ban the nether area as I did before, place a ZPI, set up 8 synced portals to destroy all the trap portals, and then enter the prison from there. I could slowly wither into the prison 1 block at a time with blue skulls until I make it all the way to the bands that surround the prison. I could use my cat detector to activate a barrage of TNT dupers, which wouldn't break me out, but maybe the guards would think that I'm some kind of omnipotent TNT god and set me free, I don't know. And let us not forget, the best escape for any prison is just to not click on any beds at all. I mean, what are they gonna do? Build the pulsar? I stand under the water to symbolize emotion as I tell you to subscribe because this video took several minutes of my time to make. Imagine if it took several weeks. That would be pretty sad.